How are you? It's so good to see you. We haven't seen each other in so long. Good evening, guys. My name is Evelyn Fountain, and I am the owner of Mom's Little Corner. And on Thursday, for the ones who have been here before and to our newcomer, we talk about autism. So Thursday is dedicated to autism. I have a son who's 8 years old and he is on the autism spectrum. So on Thursday, I come on live on Zoom and we have a conversation pertaining to autism. And then we have question and answer, we have an open discussion on autism. So you can ask me any question you would like to know about having a child on the spectrum, or maybe if you've seen somebody out in public and you kind of said, oh, well, what's going on right there? Their child may have had autism. You may not have felt comfortable asking them. So I'm going to be that buffer. So if you have a question, you can ask me. I'll pretty much answer anything. Tonight is going to be a little bit different. I had a topic planned, but the way my week has went, it's been a week, and I'm going to be 100% transparent. I kind of wanted to cancel tonight, but I said I wasn't going to cancel, and I was just going to press on and do the show anyway. So I think what I want to do is table what I had planned and just kind of talk about, I'm still going to talk about autism, but not like my son having autism, how I feel as a mother with the child on the spectrum. And when I mean how I feel, like just emotions that I go through. I'm going to tell you, last night was a rough night for me. I think I went to sleep. When I finally laid down in the bed, it was after 1:30 when I went to sleep. And then Daniel woke up. It had to be 3 o'clock. And he was up from 3 o'clock in the morning until he went to school. So that meant I couldn't get any sleep last night. And I started a new job this week. And it's an adjustment period for me because I had more flexibility at my other job. So because nights like when Daniel didn't sleep, I may have been able to go in late. But this job, I had to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning. And I had flexibility with getting there late. I don't want to say late, but later than 9 o'clock in the morning, because I make sure my kids get to school. And having this new job has put stress on me because I don't have the flexibility to like really wait. So my last school drop off is at 8:45. Well, you have to give me a second, okay? All right, can you ask Naya maybe? So my last drop off is at 8:45. Now the school lets the kids and starts letting the kids in at 8:45. And I feel bad. I'm sorry. See, we were having an autism moment right there. My child just pulled the whole thing of tea in the sink. So, this is what autism is.
Oh,
and,
yes, it is.
A whole new thing of tea just went in the sink. But I guess he won't have his favorite tea right now. So, like I was saying, my last child gets dropped off at 8:45, but you can go into the school lot at 8:30. Yeah. You guys hear the background. This is what autism sounds like. Here you go. Yeah. Please have these. And that's what we're gonna do. So this is what autism is. It's you're trying to do something and they're doing things that they may not be supposed to do, like pouring tea in the sink and trying to get all the snacks from the hiding places. But we're gonna press on, and if he eats all the snacks right now, then I think he's gonna ruin dinner. But it's okay. So I feel bad because I don't get to wait for my last son to go inside the building. I have to leave like 3 minutes, 5 minutes before he actually goes in the building. And I was telling his teacher, like, you know, I'm gonna have to leave him in the schoolyard. And she's like, he's gonna be okay. There's all the adults in here. And I know that there's adults there. And mind you, his line is right in front of the door where another teacher is standing at each morning. But I feel bad as a mom because I normally stand there, watch him go in. Like we have our little hand shake that we do, and we still do that, but it feels different because I feel like in the morning now I'm rushing to make sure he gets in line so I can hurry up and get back to the car and get to this job. And it's like, I feel guilty. So that's what I've been dealing with this week, on top of not sleeping last night. And I truly don't know. I mean, I do know because even as on a regular night, like I may sleep, but I don't really feel like I'm rested because I feel like I'm in such a light sleep because I have to be alert because I don't know if Dan's going to wake up, or if he does wake up and I don't know, is he going to leave the house? And then I don't know because Daniel is an eloper, which is a child on the spectrum that pretty much if they have the opportunity, they're going to run. Children on the spectrum, when they elope, they leave the house, they can get into traffic, and Daniel has no fear of, like, he doesn't understand what danger is. So I live on a major street, so that is my greatest fear, that he elopes and he runs into traffic. A lot of times when children are on the spectrum, they find water, and you know, they don't understand that water safety. So it's really important to start water safety with your children, even if they're on or off the spectrum, because children can drown in an instant. And it doesn't have to be a big body of water. It can be a small bucket of water, a little tub of water, like, excuse me, or a pond, a pool. And when kids are on the spectrum, they love water. I don't know what it is about the water, but they love it, because Daniel, when I put him in the bathtub, he's in there for hours. Like, I let him be in the bathtub for hours because it tires him out. And sometimes when he's really, really sleepy, he's in the tub and he's starting to close his eyes. I'm like, all right, let's go. Because now I know when I put you in that bed, you're going to be knocked out. But last night was definitely rough on me. And I'm telling you guys, I really wanted to like not do it tonight because I'm tired. I still have to get dinner out. I didn't get dinner out, like, so I'm going to do something quick tonight. But last night I made what did I make? I made meatloaf, homemade mashed potatoes, and corn. And I was like, oh my God, it took me so long. So I felt like my schedule was off. So right now I'm definitely off the schedule. Okay, so I have a question and a comment. Kim said, will the new job have FMLA? So right now I'm on the 90-day new employee, you guys know, probation. So I won't be eligible for FMLA. And to be honest, I have to find out with this company because they're not a big company. So I have to find out. But I'm gonna get back to y'all on how I like. We're gonna do an update on the new job, but I just feel like it's different. It's not what I'm accustomed to, and I think that's kind of throwing me for a loop, because just like children on the spectrum, they have routines. My routine is now thrown off, so I have to kind of get a balance, and I don't have that balance. So I really feel out of sort. And I know it's only the first week, but for me, I like structure like anybody else. And I think having a child on the spectrum has really made me see and appreciate structure more, because I have to be so structured with him, with his time, and with the things that he has going on. So I just have to find a balance. And I'm going to read some more comments and the questions really quick. How do you stay awake on a run with such little sleep? Prayer.
Indeed. Indeed.
Prayer. I have no idea, to be honest. Like, my eyes feel heavy now, but yeah, I mean, it's like, if I could take a nap, I probably would take a nap, but I can't take a nap. So it's just like you learn how to work without sleep, and it's so unhealthy because your body needs to rest. And my thing is like, even when I like on the weekends, I like, and this is sad. Like, if I don't have the boys, I'm in the house. I don't do anything. I'd rather just lay in the bed and try to like get sleep. And that's not good because I need an outlet outside of being a mom. Like right now, I do nothing, and it's sad because I can have a break. And, like, I mean, going out is kind of different now with COVID and everything. But even if I just like say, oh, I'm going to go to my mom's house, or I'm going to go to my sister's house, I don't even feel like doing that because I literally want to just lay in the bed. Like, when I say lay in the bed, I've watched all of Criminal Minds. I watched all 16 series. 16. I think it's 16 seasons of Criminal Minds. I watched them all. And when I say watch them all, I watched them back to back to back, like on the weekends, because I did nothing but lay in the bed. So it's like I really need to kind of step outside of that because I need to do something else besides lay in the bed and watch TV. But when you're tired, it's really like you don't want to do anything. Let's see. How was Daniel? Was he tired? So putting Daniel on the bus today. No, he was not tired at all. You would have thought he went to sleep because he was in play mode. Daniel is a prankster. And excuse me, when it was time to get on the bus, I had got out the car and he was sitting in the middle holding on to the armrest so I couldn't get him out. And I had to tickle him to let him release it. So then once we got out the car, he got on the bus. And then, he had a substitute bus driver. So that kind of didn't make things go well. So he got on the bus and started to run down to his seat and then came back like he wanted to get off the bus. So he did that about 2 times and was laughing and playing. Then he finally went to his seat and they were able to pull off. So Daniel will be fine. Like, he doesn't take a nap in school, so I'm pretty sure he didn't take a nap. He may have took a nap on the bus on the way home because normally he does take a nap on the way home, but you guys can hear him in the background. He's up like he's been asleep all night last night. And then we have another comment. Okay, so Chanel was replying to the FMLA question. She was saying that if they do have it, I wouldn't qualify yet because I would have to wait the 90 days. And then we have Khadija. That's a blessing. Yes, it is a blessing that I do get some weekends. You said it's a blessing that you do get some weekends. It's literally me and they never. Yes. Okay. So Khadija, I definitely feel what you're saying. It's definitely difficult when you're the only primary caregiver for a child on the spectrum because you're always on go. I feel like with kids, period, your mind is always racing, but when you have a child on the spectrum, your mind is always racing. You can and you have 2, Khadija. So when one is probably sitting quietly doing something, I'm pretty sure the other one is not. And I am definitely grateful that I do get those weekends, and that's why I'm saying I need to take advantage of them. Besides just, I know I'm tired, but if I can go all week without rest, I guess Saturday won't hurt. And how am I going to manage the next 90 days? Okay, so I'm going to manage the next 90 days by prayer and just trying to find a rhythm. I just have to find a rhythm with it. Once I find the rhythm, I think I'll be okay. And I do have appointments, and I let her know prior that I had some appointments. So that's just going to be about reminding her. And I had to let her know I do have a son on the spectrum that has appointments. Sometimes they're, they come up. I may know about it early in advance. Sometimes I may not. But at the end of the day, my child is my first priority, and we're gonna have one or two conversations. I'm gonna let you know I need to either take off for the day or I need to leave early, and you're either gonna say yes or you're gonna say no, and then I'm gonna have to go on my own and say, I respect that you're telling me that you need me here, but my son needs me, and I'm gonna do what I have to do for my son, because guess what, this job gonna be here and they gonna do what they need to do, but I have to do what I gotta do for mine. So I mean,
you may have some questions, but it's sending it a direct message. You gotta send it to everyone. But
okay,
does he have do you have a monitor for Daniel that goes on his wrist? Do you give him night meds?
okay, so Daniel is not on any meds. Now, I do give melatonin. Hold on one second, because he's too quiet for me. So Daniel is not on any medicine, and I do give him melatonin gummies. And some nights they work, because he had one yesterday and it didn't work. So normally what I do is I'm sorry. So last night he had a melatonin and he had a bath. Now I kind of did it in reverse, but I mean he was still tired when I got him out the tub. So normally I put him in the bath last, and then like I said, I give him a longer time in the tub. But I put him in the bath first last night. But I did wait until he started to fall asleep, and then I put him in the bed and he went right to sleep like 2 minutes. So I don't know why the melatonin didn't work, but he sure enough was like, I'm up. And he was like, when I say he was up, like it was 7 o'clock in the morning, it's time for him to go to school, he was up. And I was up and I was tired. And guess what I was up doing? Making bacon. Because that's his preferred food. So I was making bacon. And so since I was up making bacon, I was like, well, guess what? We about to do this. Oh, wait, before I tell y'all what I had him doing, I'm gonna answer the other question. No, he does not have like a monitor, like a wrist monitor or anything. So he has it's a bracelet and it has like identifying information. So it says that I have autism. It has his name, my name, his dad's name, and the address and telephone number. But as far as like a GPS wearable situation, no, he doesn't have that. I'm looking into that now. We did have like you know how like you can get like the air tags for like, now Apple has like air tags. We used to put one in his pocket, but I mean, that's not really like something, because he could take that out of his pocket. So I had to get something that's going to be more reliable. Just watching. And then so since he was up at 3, like it was time to do what he was supposed to do, and he wanted me to make him bacon and eat all the cookies, I made him work for that stuff. So over the weekend, we've talked about a communication device a couple of weeks ago, and I was telling you guys how Daniel was in the process of getting his communication device, and I am so happy to say his device came. I'm probably about to, you know what, let me take this background off really quickly so you guys can see, because you're not going to be able to see with it. Okay. So Daniel's communication device came, and I am so happy. Can you guys see it?
Mm-hmm.
So over the weekend, his communication device came, and from one of our previous, because it wasn't the last conversation we had, but a previous conversation we were talking about like devices that helps children on the spectrum, and this is one of the devices that help children on the spectrum. Daniel is nonverbal, so he uses this. He's learning how to use this so he can communicate. And Daniel used to get really frustrated. Yes, super excited to hear. Yes, he is very excited. So he's been using a communication device at school, but they didn't have loaners at his school. So we had to go through his insurance company to get this. So when you're on the spectrum, you, even if you have private insurance, you can also get Medicaid. And it helps you so much because it gives you resources and you don't have to pay for them. So this was a free device that I did not have to pay for. Now, if you know how much Apple products cost, this is an iPad. It's probably the newest one, and you know how much they run. So this is something that I didn't have to pay for. And not only that, the software that's on here is expensive. Please go sit down.
I like it.
I think you do. Now I'll let you see this in a minute, but okay. So
Okay.
yes, he's learning how. That's the first thing. That's the first thing he learned how to do in school was learn snacks because he's a snack person. He loves sweets. So to motivate him to use it, that's how his teachers started with him. So this is the homepage, and if you can see, these are like the icons, and you can set up the voice for it. So I'll let you guys hear how his little voice sounds. So if you look, they have like different categories. So that's places. Let's see. Things. So if you click on things, then he clicks food. And then so he loves cookies, so it has cookies. So what I had him doing is, I know he wanted the bacon because he went in the refrigerator and got it. So before I even opened the bacon, I made him go to the home screen. So he had to go to the home screen. He had to find food, and then he had to go to food. Let me see. So I went to food, and I showed him. So as I'm doing, I showed him. So I clicked on food, and I went to breakfast. And from breakfast, I pointed to bacon, and then he had to touch bacon, and then he touched eat. And so, I mean, it's gonna say different things, but really, it was just saying eat bacon. I food bacon eat. So it pretty much says what he wants. So Daniel likes, and I was speaking with his teacher because since this is a new device for myself, I have to get used to using it with Daniel. We had a Zoom meeting yesterday, so we can like just talk about it if I had any questions about it. So what she was saying to me, and I never even thought about it like that because you know, I got it at home, so I plugged it up because I was excited. So I plugged it up the first day I got it, and Daniel was playing with it. So, you know, like, because he's used to seeing this at school. So he kept going like this, and then he would play it. Oh, wait. And so he would dance to it. And so, you know, I was letting her know, like, yeah, when it came, we plugged it up, and, you know, I let him play with it. And then if he wanted a cookie, I would go to cookie and I would point to it, and he would press it, and then I would give it to him. And she was like, yes, that's great. That's how you should start with it. Now, the only thing that I didn't do was, she was saying in school, what she do is if he wants something, she lets him go to it, find it himself, and press it. And then she gives him a small piece. And then she goes through the steps again. So he's reinforcing what he's supposed to do. Now, I just gave him the whole pack of cookies. It was like 2 in the pack. But I'm like, okay, so now I know that what I need to do is have him go through the series of finding what he needs and then giving him a piece and then letting him do it again. So if I model it first, then I need to give him a little piece of what he wants and then let him do it on his own. And then he gets another piece. Now, when we were talking, she was saying how, you know, how children, when they're first learning how to speak, they babble.
Mm-hmm.
It was like when he's just on here and he's just pressing letters and pictures, that's his way of babbling and that's his way of learning how to use the device. And I never thought of it like that. So this is like, no, he does not speak, but now he's speaking because when he wants something, he knows how to go. And like, I showed him how to find the bacon. And then last night I showed him how to find tub. And so this morning he pressing. I want to get in the tub. I want to get in the tub. So it's amazing. Like I've only showed him that last night. So we only did bacon and tub last night. And this morning, well, a couple of hours later, he was up and I, cut it on and he was up and he went right back through the series of how to get to bacon. And it's a step, it's a process because there's a home screen and then there's categories and each category has different things. So I can click on food and then food is either going to take me to a screen that has breakfast. When you go to breakfast, you have so many things that you can pick from. So it's like he has to remember the steps in the order of how to get there. And as he gets older, this device grows with him. So right now he has the pictures, but once he gets a little bit older and able to type, he can type out things and he doesn't have to use the pictures. So all of that to say, my week has been a lot. And it's been a lot as a woman, as a mother, but this tablet and seeing him work it, it was all worth it. Now, having a child on the spectrum, it's draining. It's a emotional roller coaster, and you feel like you're having, I would say, whiplash of emotions because it can be daily. Sometimes Daniel is having a meltdown, and I'm trying everything I can to kind of see what he needs, and nothing works. And sometimes you kind of feel like a failure as a parent when you can't understand what your own child wants or needs. And I feel like as a mother with a child on the spectrum, that's my reality a lot of the time because Daniel is nonverbal. So it's really like guessing what my child needs, like as if you had a newborn baby and the baby is crying and you're like, oh my God, I don't know. Like I fed the baby, I burped the baby, I changed the baby, I played with the baby. It's like you're kind of picking at straws, like, what do I do next? And sometimes you really don't know what that next thing is. 1 second, David. Let me see. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna go. So Kim said, is he learning how to ask for, yes, I did answer that question. Yes, he is learning how to ask for food and snacks. Yes, okay. So Chanel, when I first set the device up, I really didn't know what I was doing. So, the six figures did not look like my son. And I mean, I was just excited to have the device. So when you first set the device up, it has different voices. It has adult voices because the communication device could be for an adult. So it had adult male and female, and had children male and female, and then it had AI male and female, children and adults. So I'm not thinking like, oh, this device is going to have, girl. When I said, give me 1 second, please. It said, I don't know what the little name was, whatever the name was, but it identified, oh, I don't know if it's an African American. It said something, but it's the voice of a brown boy. And I was like, yes, that's my son voice. Because I mean, like, no, you can't hear, oh, it's the brown boy. But like, I want my son to be able to identify and have something that kind of would sound like him, because I don't know what his little voice is going to sound like. But I was shocked to see that, because normally it's kind of hard to see representation for our skin color. And just to have that on this device, it definitely means something. And then when his because the first day he got it, I sent it to school that Monday. I emailed his teacher like his device came, and she was so excited. She emailed me that morning. She was like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited!" And so when his book bag came home the next day, the device wasn't in there. So, girl, I emailed that teacher. I think it was like 7 o'clock because remember I started this new job, so now I had to come home, cook dinner. So about 7 o'clock is when I finally got the chance to go through book bags. So when I seen that the device was in there, I called that teacher. I mean, I didn't call her, but I emailed her so quick because I'm like, yeah, his device is not in there. So I didn't know, like I didn't know what's going on. And so she emailed me the next morning and she was like, his device, his school device died at school. I wanted to send both of the devices home. But his speech therapist wanted to take it and update it. And when I got it updated, she updated it with the brown emojis. So I was really happy with that. And he said now he is able to express himself. So yes, he is starting to express himself more. And his teacher even noticed that because they've been using the device in school. And she was also saying how from the time that he started using the device, she could see a change in him because Daniel would get frustrated because he's trying to express his needs, but because he's nonverbal, you can't understand what he needs. So he would get frustrated. And kids that are on a spectrum and they are frustrated, they have meltdowns or they have self-harming injuries that they can do to themselves. So I talked about this another time also. Daniel wears a helmet because he headbangs. So that's one of his ways when he's frustrated, he headbangs. He also bites his wrists when he's frustrated. So she said that she's seeing a decrease in those things because he's now able to ask for what he needs by using a communication device, which is really good. And I was I don't want to say like fighting with them, but like in meetings, I'm like, the PEG system does not work. I mean, you know how you know your child, and I'm telling them like it doesn't work. Like using a book to communicate is not effective for him. Daniel is very tech savvy, so I knew that him having a communication device would open up communication for him in a broader way, and it would help. So it's definitely proven that the communication device is very good for him because he is able to now express what he needs in a way that people are understanding him, and he doesn't have to have these self-harming injuries. Now just because he has the communication device does not mean that those things that he does, like the head banging and the biting of the wrist, stop, but it is a decrease in it, which is a positive. And so Powerhouse, you said, I'm so excited for Daniel. I hope you find some peace and you are doing the best you can. Thank you. So, I really agree with the show yourself some grace. And for 2023, that's going to be something that I work on because I think I'm not gonna say I know I'm hard on myself in that department.
Yeah.
And Powerhouse, you want to say why do I send it to school? So I send his communication device to school because this is going to be his primary way of communicating. And yes, they did have the one in the school that he could use, but this one is going to be what he takes back and forth with him because it's going to have everything he needs on it. So, like the one in the school may not have something that they program it to have now because he's going to have this one. So just like if he was to be somewhere without me, he still needs to be able to communicate. So wherever he goes, the communication device goes. Um, okay, I see what you said. Yes, I did answer that question for you. But yeah, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna stop right there and open up the floor for questions. But that's how my week's been going. I've had some ups and I had some downs. definitely some sleepless nights. Hopefully tonight it'll be a little bit better. We're gonna be getting dinner a little bit late, but it's okay. Cause maybe if they go to sleep a little bit later, because I know they're tired. Because my other son was woke up. I don't know. He wasn't up as early as Daniel, but he did wake up early. And when I came in, he was asleep. But I'm gonna tell y'all right now, it's gonna be a melatonin in the bath time in a little bit after dinner because I need some rest. And like it's kind of hard to go to bed early because like as a parent, you have so much stuff you have to still do. I want to go to sleep early, but I know I'm probably not going to go to sleep early, so I'm going to try to get in bed at least a little bit earlier than what I normally do. I can't be up until 1 o'clock because I don't know if he's going to have a 3 o'clock morning, and I don't think I can run 2 days in a row like that because I really do need some sleep. But I'm going to stop there and open up the floor for any comments.
Yes. Hi, Evelyn. This is
Hi.
Missy Lane. How you doing?
Yeah, how are you, Miss Elaine? Do you want me to
I'm
put your
good.
camera on for you?
You could.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm about to send it to you right
I'm
now.
good because I went to the store. I done ate so many snacks here. So I'm glad that the camera wasn't when I would have been embarrassed. Let me see.
Oh, well, if you don't want it on, Miss Elaine,
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
no.
put it on. Okay.
No, that's okay.
Did you see it? I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't.
Hey,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Okay, so I'm really excited about the teaching or learning device. I'm really excited about that. Um, because like that my grandson is 2 years old, True. We call him True Bear. He's nonverbal. I don't well, they don't want to call him nonverbal because he's starting to say some words. So Sakia, of course, she just sent me a picture a couple hours ago. He had an x-ray of his throat
Okay.
because they're ruling out everything. It's like, okay, there's no reason for this boy not to be talking, so get to talking, right? But I'm going to talk to Sakia and tell her about this device. Number one. The other thing is, I think that you would get some rest if you had um uh I don't know what the device is called that goes on their wrist. So the twins have it. Well, Isis is 11. She has the 504 plan, so she has a device. My other grandson, he's on the spectrum, so he wears it. But I was talking to the twins. I had your mom cracking up because I was saying that I want to get everybody, all the grandkids a watch. They can learn how to tell time. So they're 5. So Ron was like, Bam Mom, I already have a watch. I have an Apple Watch. And I was like, I know that boy, you get that boy no Apple Watch. But he thinks he has a watch on, but it's really that tracking tag.
Okay. I need to
So
find out about that.
yes. I'm gonna make sure I get the information for you about that. And the
Okay.
other thing was Sakia gets all the kids melatonin at 8 o'clock. Her house is shut down. All the electronics go off. If the kids are up, they have to come and ask for more time because they come in. She have a little cup set up for everybody to take their melatonin and night. So it's another thing too. It's about how many. One, no, you got some children that you might have to give more than one, so they're not addictive, and they're supposed to be safe. But that way, he would get a chance. And then one more thing too, I think it would be good for you if you had an alarm system on your door so that if any door opens, any window open, it's like, "Wah." I mean, he ain't going out there because I set mine off the other day and like, I wanted to go somewhere myself.
I didn't
So
know.
I was just thinking of those things that may help you because you do have to get some sleep. I've been running, and never, I never was a person that got sleep, right?
Mhm.
So I thought it was a part of my personality or whatever. But I stayed at Sakia house for 3 months and everybody had melatonin lined up. She had some things for me to go to sleep. It's the best sleep I ever had.
I think that we try that's something because we try to tell ourselves, oh, it's okay, we can run off of it. No, we can't.
No.
We need rest just like everybody else. Like our bodies are not made to run off of 1 hour or 2 hours of sleep. Like no, it doesn't work that way. And you end up crashing and burning.
Right.
And my thing is like you need that. And so there is this one tracking device that I know of, but I really had to research it a little bit more. It's called Angel Sense, and I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but Angel Sense is a tracking device that kids wear, and they put it on like their clothes, and they have like a special key that you have to you pretty much lock it onto their clothes, and you have to use like this little key to take it off because, and I probably would need to get that for him because Daniel takes his, well, like even if I have like I said, I had that little angle air tag thing, and that would be in his pocket. He would take that out of his pocket. So it's like I would have to put it on something that he won't be able to take off because he won't keep a watch on. He hardly keeps the helmet on. Like you have to really continuously put the helmet on. Yes, Daniel is very smart and he figures everything out. So I have alarms on the window. And I don't have an alarm on the door, but that is definitely something. But I put extra locks on the door, but he knows how to unlock them because if he watches, he will learn. Even like with the refrigerator, like I had to put a lock on the refrigerator because he'll go in the refrigerator and the bacon that I had to get for him costs $10.99 a pack, and I swear there's only like 8 pieces in there, and I have to buy multiple packs of bacon because that's something that I know he's going to eat. Like if I cook something for dinner, he may not eat it, but I know if I put bacon on, he's going to eat it. Like it doesn't matter, morning, noon, night, he's going to eat it. So this bacon is not, like it's beef bacon. And I'm like, for $10, they ain't really putting a whole bunch in there. And he went in the refrigerator and 2 packs of bacon was like left out. And my thing is like, to be honest, I'm like, oh my goodness. Like now, for real, I don't know if it was left out for an hour, 2 hours, overnight, whatever, but I had to throw it in the trash. And I really not, yes, I do need a bacon fundraiser. So if anybody want to supply Daniel some bacon fundraiser, please do, because this bacon is expensive and that's what he eats. And I've tried turkey bacon. He doesn't eat pork, so it's like beef bacon. Turkey bacon was a no. So he's very particular on the things that he does eat. So I had to put a lock on the refrigerator. So I'm like, okay, ooh, he ain't gonna get in the refrigerator. No, he watched me, and when he got my keys, he went through. And I mean, if you see my keys, I have so many keys on there. I really need to go through and clean it out because some of the keys don't even work. The things that I have now, but he went on there and he found the exact key to open up the refrigerator. And what did he do? Open up the refrigerator. So now it's like, if he see, like even with the locks, he watches me. He watches how I unhook the lock, and now he knows how to unhook the lock. So the next lock is going to have to be at the top of the door, but I'm only 5'3", so I can't even change smoke detectors. I had to get on the stool. So every time I unlock my door, I had to get on the stool to unlock the door. So it's just like, when you have a child on the spectrum, it's crafty. You got to be crafty. You got to come up with new ways to keep your house safe. Flushing the toilet. One of his things that like he does repetitively is flush the toilet, and I've kind of had to lock the bathroom door, and he's fully potty trained. So I like having the bathroom unlocked because he can go to the bathroom when he needs to. But I don't know if anybody, Miss Lynn, you have grandkids, so your grandkids might know of this YouTube channel. It's called Mr. Flush It. And he loves Mr. Flush It. And Mr. Flush It is going to get an email from me because there has already been a replacement of a toilet because Mr. Daniel flushes things down the toilet now. And Yeah, the plumber had to come out and take the toilet off because there was about 5 cars flushed
Yes.
down the
Yeah.
toilet.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just a lot. Pray for me, with flushing things down the toilet because I heard the toilet flush. So now I'm kind of scared, but I just had to send my daughter back there. But yeah. So the next thing is with the device to make sure like the location device. I am still looking into the service dog. I actually got an email from a company that I sent some questions to in reference to a service dog. So that's the next step. When I say this autism thing is a journey, it's a journey. And I don't know anyone in my family, like in my immediate family, and then in my family as a whole who has autism. So I've been on this journey like as I go. And it's like there's no handbook, just like it's no handbook for parents, and there's no handbook to say this is what you should do next or this is what you should do first. It's kind of like learning as I go. And I said it many times before. I do this because I didn't have somebody to do this for me. And I know how lonely it feels when you first get that diagnosis of your child having autism. And no matter how you have family support, because I had family support, um, if they don't live it, they don't know it. And yes, they are supportive and they want to be there to help and like encouraging, and it is, but it's still you're on the ice. I felt like, and I do sometimes still feel like I'm on an isolated island. And no matter what someone else says to me, they will never understand unless they have a child on the spectrum. And it's like sometimes like you take the advice and like, yes, that sounds good, but sometimes I do want to just say, you don't know what I go through. Like, you can never imagine it. Like, even if I told you my worst day, you would not like it. You would be like, oh yeah, I can't. No, you can't. And nobody gets that. And it's not anybody's fault because they don't know what it's like and they're only trying to be helpful. But sometimes it's like, you don't want to say like a pity party for yourself, but like you don't like, when I say cry, like this morning I cried in the shower. Like I cried in the shower because I'm tired. I feel alone. I feel like um like I'm not gonna say like a failure as a mom, because I definitely don't. I know that I'm not a failure as a mom, but sometimes on this autism journey, it does feel like you're not doing your best, and you can definitely be putting 100 in, or not even 100. You could put 1,000% into this, and you still feel like you're doing a disservice to your child because you may not know something, or it may be a new therapy that came out that you didn't know about, and you feel like, oh, I found out about it now. Look at me, I didn't know about this, and now it's like you're punishing yourself for something you didn't even know. And sometimes parents, well, I'm not gonna say sometimes parents, I'm gonna say myself. I definitely punish myself because I'm like, I did something to cause my son to have autism because nobody else in my family has autism, you know? And it doesn't matter if someone in your family had it, or you could have drunk your whole pregnancy or smoked your whole pregnancy and your child come out with nothing, no autism, no nothing. Or you could have been on every doctor's appointment, you took in every vitamin, you did everything that you were supposed to do, and your child comes out having a special need. So it doesn't matter if you did everything you were supposed to do or you didn't do anything you were supposed to do. If your child has special needs, it's not your fault. And I feel like it's easy, even me hearing myself say it's not your fault, but it's going to still be a time that I feel like it's my fault. And I think that's just going to be something that I have to deal with and learn to process. And I don't know if that's going to be within the next year, the next 5 years, but autism is going to be in my life forever.
Yeah.
Because you do not grow out of having autism. You get older and you learn how to manage autism, but autism is not something like a common cold. Like you can get it and you can take a medicine for it and you cure yourself of having autism. There's different levels to having autism, and sometimes the levels are mild, sometimes they are, not mild, but you manage them, and it just depends on the people that you have around you, the support that you're in, and just the individual mindset. Go ahead, boss lady. I see you have your hand raised.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry. I was in a meeting earlier when they were school, but my question is what you were just saying about kind of like being a mom and having to deal with the autistic journey. Like, how do you actually handle your negative self-talk when you're like, even though you know you're a good mom doing everything that you can for your son, when you have those moments when you're beating yourself up or you're feeling guilty, like how do you manage that?
So in those moments, when I'm having negative, I cry. I cry. And it's, I feel like sometimes I get frustrated. A lot of times, I'm gonna be honest, a lot of times I cry. And I feel like it's hard not to have self-doubt, and I feel like I don't know everything about autism. And like I said, I'm learning everything about autism because I have a child that has autism. But I feel like the negative part, I try to block it out, but on those days that I can't block it out and it's really bad, I just, like I said, this morning I got in the shower and I cried. And like, it's hard because you don't want to see, like, I mean, I have 2 other kids, and like I have my oldest is 17, and I don't, like, I don't want her to see me sad. And like sometimes she's just like, Mom, are you okay? And she doesn't know, like, Mom is going through a lot. But like, even in those moments when she asked me and I could be going through something, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm fine, it means so much because like she's just asking me because she wants to know, like, not like, oh, because like, and I was thinking, Powerhouse, you know how you say take the mask off? And you said something this morning, and like I was reading it, but in the whole time in my mind, I'm like, yeah, Powerhouse be saying take the mask off. And right now, what I have to do is put the mask on. Like, I feel like I wear this mask of, oh, everything is fine. And sometimes everything is not fine. Like this morning, I was tired. And I had to put on a mask of I'm not tired, knowing that I'm tired. I left out the house a little bit late. So I was kind of frustrated. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to get him to school and I got to get to this job at 9:00. I didn't have any lunch. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to eat lunch. And I was on the phone with boss lady and she like, well, just go back home and get something. And I was like, well, I planned on taking a nap in the car. How do you take a nap in the car? But that's what I was going to do because I'm like, I'm tired. And I know, like, I told boss lady one time, I'm so tired. You know how like when you're tired, you start to nod out? I'm so tired, my body doesn't even do that anymore. Now, how do you get that tired that you can't even nod out? Like me and boss lady would be in a car driving and she would be talking and I would be nodding. And if you know Powerhouse, y'all know how she nods. I was doing a Powerhouse. And I've become accustomed to not having sleep that I don't even nod anymore. And I could be tired, like my eyes could be dry and I really need to close them, but I can't even nod out. I'm like, how are you so tired? You can't nod out. Like, that's not good. That's my body really telling me, like, if your eyes are dry and like you feel like your eyes are burning, your eyes have no liquid, like your eyes are dry and you need to rest. Oh my God, please don't show those pictures. So boss lady is in the comments talking about I had many pictures with your mouth wide open. Please don't show those pictures. And then yes, I have to put a mask on. I have to put a mask on, and the mask is I'm awake. I'm fine. And sometimes I'm not fine. But like what am I supposed to do? Like, yes, I got in the shower this morning and I cried, but like after I turned that water off, I had to turn it, like I had to put the mask on and like get stuff going. So
I have a question. I have another question for you. When you walk in the door, I know your schedule is changed. Like I don't know where you're working, but so you have a change of schedule. So when you get home, what time is it when you get home, you think now?
Um so I get home about 5:45. So that's not too late. It's not late.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean I got home later. So the commute was 45 minutes. Now the commute is 5 minutes, which the commute is a blessing. But the thing is, I just have to get used to it. And it's not what I am used to. Like I'm used to a certain standard and it's not at that standard that I'm used to. So like for me, it's kind of frustrating. But every place that you go to is not going to be ran the same. And then some people like, oh, well, you have to implement. And my thing is like, to be honest, I shouldn't be implementing things that should already be implemented. But I'm gonna say this the first week and I'm gonna see how it goes. But at the end of the day, I can always put my resume out there. I mean, it's kind of hard. People say it's easier to find a job, but it's kind of hard. And I mean, like then somebody told me, well, it's gonna be something everywhere you go. So I do have to take that into consideration. And maybe I have to take into consideration that I was so accustomed. Yes, FCAS spoiled me. And I was accustomed to how things was ran. Like I knew, like, okay, this is the regs and the regs gonna be followed. Here, we're not gonna talk about. Anyway, Miss Lane, what was the next part of your question?
So I'm thinking, right? So you get home at 5:45.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think the first thing you would do was to get him in the tub.
So I'm gonna be honest. The first thing I do is come and I take everything off because I don't want to hug my kids with those clothes on because we're trying. But so what I do when I come in is I take everything off. Then I have to get dinner ready. So a lot of people like, oh, prepare your meals. Like I can prepare some. Like what I try to do is cook to have leftovers. So I have leftovers for like the next day and lunch. But I don't like preparing my meals too many days in advance. I like my meals to be fresh. And when I cook, most times I make a homemade stuff. And so it's like, I mean, like the other day I came home and I made mashed potatoes from scratch. I could have got the, already made, but I don't really want that.
I don't like that. I like that. No.
Yeah, like, no, I want to make my, like, I want to feed my family how I feed my family. And like, you want to put love in the food. I don't know. So my thing is like, I just have to find a balance. So like I said, when I come in, I kind of, see what's going on. Like last night we did Wind Down Wednesday. So that's kind of, threw a little bit off. Yeah, never instant potatoes. My dad would be mad at me if I made instant potatoes.
I've never
Ebony can vouch. Ebony can vouch because we don't do that.
But listen, what I'm saying is you have to be like a robot. No, do this whole eating thing without any emotion. The only time you're gonna have emotion is when you get in the bed and you start winding down for yourself. But if you walk in that door, take your stuff off, run his bath water, melatonin, waiting for him when he come out, and you start your dinner by 8 o'clock, he going down.
But then look at this, right? I still gotta look at homework because kids is in school and they have homework. So I still have to go through like I do the get the dinner ready, and like I don't want to feel like I'm just coming home and putting my kids to bed. I need
that's what you need to do. until you get some
But
rest.
like, it has to be a balance. I do need rest, but I don't want to be that parent that is, I go to work and I'm spending time with everybody else's kid, and then I come home and my kids are going straight to bed. I need to still have, I got to make sure their homework is together. I need to make sure, like my kids are feeling loved. I want to love on my kids because kids are not kids forever. And even saying that, like, I have a 17-year-old who's about to leave, like she goes to work. So even when she's at work, I can't go to sleep because I need to make sure she's getting home. Like I can't go to sleep if she's not in the house. And granted, she doesn't work far from my house, but even even her traveling from her job home is like, with the times that we live in, I have to make sure before I'm asleep, because when I go to sleep, I really don't want to be woken up. I have to make sure she's in the house, because you never know. Like if I'm asleep, God forbid, I'm thinking she's home and something that happened to her while she's out. So I have to, like, I understand what you're saying, like with the schedule, and I do have to kind of fine tune the schedule, but I still need to make, like, I don't want the weekends just to be when my kids feel like mommy is being attentive to them. Like with Daniel, I had to practice the device with him. I need to practice other things with him. Like they do things in school, but I want to make sure that I'm still instilling in them what I feel like they still need to know. Like, like I want to read with. I had one who he's in first grade, but he reads very well. So I try to read with him every night, and like, checking homework, making sure the homework is right. I think that's important, and I feel like it's not enough time in the day, and I do want them to be on like a tight schedule. So like, to be honest, I try to get them in bed between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. Now here this week and certain days, like last night, they did get in bed, but Daniel woke up, so that was kind of difficult. They're mainly in bed between 8:30 and 9, and most nights Daniel sleeps throughout the night, so I do get rest. I'm not gonna say like I never sleep, but I still don't sleep how I should sleep. But I definitely think the routine is going to be key. But I just don't want to feel like when I come home, hey, how you doing? Eat this dinner, go to bed.
My sister-in-law used to say heads in bed. But no, I'm just saying that you have to bring your evening down early. I'm not saying you can't read. I'm not saying you got to get that wind down with that tub, right? And you got to get that melatonin in everybody. So everybody start to come down. You can still read, you still can check the homework, but everybody is on their way down. And then when they get in the bed, they're gonna rest better. You can't come in like woo, woo, woo. No, you even can't start like that. It gotta come down when you come in and do it. That's what I'm saying.
Now, when they're like, when they do the, hold on, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So what I wanted to say is that, like, I totally agree with what you're saying, EJ. But I also understand Evelyn's perspective. And at the end of the day, we have to remember that take the typical parent hat off and put your autistic parenting hat on. Now,
I got it. I got it on. I do. I really am getting it. I've seen it. The reason why I'm saying that is because I see how Takia run her house, and I thought it was cruel. I was like, well, good God. They just, as soon as they walk in the door, everybody, Ron in the tub, Reese in the tub. It's when they walk in the door, bam, 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 bam. And everything that you want to put in that time, you can, but you got to bring them down first so that everybody can rest. Like I said, all electronics off at a certain time, lights out, lights down, and then you get in that type of routine. Then it's the same thing for. I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying I think that if you start that when you walk in the door, not a rigid thing, it's still loving,
Daniel.
that might work.
I would agree with you, but I also feel like just parenting in general, we also have to take the needs of the kids into consideration too.
Right.
And my daughter doesn't have autism, but there are times where she's off of, and we like she's not done, so we can get our even moved on. And sometimes as a parent, I have to remember that she's just a kid, okay, and I'm the person that's rigorous and wants us to be on schedule and all that stuff like that. So I mean, I think it has to be a balance of both. Like you have to definitely have some type of system and routine where children can be accustomed to what's next. But you also have to have a level of flexibility to really tune your child to understand what their needs are on that particular day.
Always, but like I was just saying, I don't know because see, it's not that much time. It's like you come in, it's not that much time to get things done.
And another thing is you have to see because melatonin does everybody differently. So for me, if I give them it too early, it's going to put them to bed too early because when I give it to them and I put them in a tub, so what I normally do is when I'm feeding them, I give them their melatonin and then I put them in the tub because after I get them out that tub, it's 10. I would say we're not talking about Daniel right now. But on a good night, if I give melatonin and give him a warm bath, David is sleeping 5 minutes. Now, it depends because the melatonin does work for Daniel, but sometimes he overpowers it. So it's like I didn't give it to him. So it just depends on where he's at and what type of day he's had. And if he's in play mode, because if he's in play mode, he's jumping on beds. It don't matter how long he's been in that bathtub. It don't matter if he done had the melatonin. He jumping on beds. He playing. He thinks it's a game.
What about music? You use music?
Oh, so I have the Alexas in every room, and what I play is I play. Well, sometimes I do like meditation music. But David loves to hear like the rain sound. So I'll do like rain sounds. Yes.
White noise. I was going to say that. Yes. We use white noise for the kids. Oh my God. I didn't, when my grandkids was young, forget my iPhone, okay? Because we had white noise, pink noise, every kind of noise on there because it really, really helps to soothe. I like it myself.
I do too. I love it. I listen. And on the nights that like last night, it was raining so heavy. I loved it. Like I don't like to open my windows up. That's so soothing. And yes, boss lady, Daniel is definitely a prankster. Everyone knows it. Like my thing is like he does not have words, but he's very affectionate when he wants to, because like I said before, he doesn't like people to hug him, but if he lets you hug him, it's a nice hug. And he doesn't like kisses, but he'll come and like, when I say it warms my heart so much because I know that he's not like a kisser, but he'll come and kiss me and I just be like, oh, what you want? You can have it. And like, so like sometimes he'll wipe your kiss off, but then sometimes he just let him, I'm like, oh, you let me kiss you. So Daniel is very affectionate and he's a prankster. And it's so funny because like, you're just looking at him and like, if you're having a bad day, you're not going to be having a bad day for long. And it like, even without words, like, it's just amazing. So like, yes, he's nonverbal. And like, even though he's nonverbal, I'm like, he's so expressive. And he's going to let you know if he's happy or if he's upset. And watch out if he's upset.
Well, one thing I know for sure, Evelyn, is this. The one thing I learned from the Institute, I'll never forget it. When I was in the class, and they said, everybody put your hand over your mouth, and we all did like this. And they was like, "Can you still read?" I was like, "I can read." You talking about sight reading? I can read up a storm with my eyes. I don't have to see a word. So that's what's so good that you also know that as he can see and he can hear, and he's going to be just fine,
Yes.
just fine, for sure. I see my grandson. We was at, oh my God, what the hell did we go to? What's that damn thing we went to, David? Super something, Supercharged. Oh my God, we went to Supercharged way somewhere in Jersey on Saturday for Takia's birthday, but I kept my eyes mainly on True. He walk around. He was playing games. He was, you know, True. What? Try this one over here, and just will be talking, and he see where I'm at. He already knew. Oh, I'm going over there with my band mom. You know what I mean? Or I'm going over there with my pop pop. To be able to see him do everything that everybody else can do, and I said to myself, "Damn, I've been with this boy for 8 hours, and he ain't said a word. He did everything else we did."
And that's the thing. And
Yeah.
that's what people need to understand, that yes, Daniel is on the autism spectrum, but Daniel is also still a little boy. And just like other little boys, he can do things. And I'm going to leave out with this last thing, and then I'm going to ask Kim to come off of mute and just tell us how you enjoyed what's your thoughts. So
Well, I'm sorry I'm sorry,
okay,
Evelyn.
go ahead.
The butt in. I mean, I've been waiting a long time.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I raised my hand, but here's what I want to say. I want to say two things. The first thing I want to say is that we need to, all of us need to understand that no two families function alike, and what works for one family may not work for another. And we have to find our own way to make our family system work for us. That's important. And other thing I want to say to you, Evelyn, as a woman first, you know, a mother is one of the things that you have to do. You came to earth to be a mother, but you're also a woman, and you're not a super being. And so learn to live in those moments when you need to cry, show yourself some grace and cry. And when you're not feeling good, it's okay to take your mask off and say, no, I'm not okay. It's okay to say that. We have to make it normal to say, I'm not okay, or today is not a great mental health day for me. I'm having a moment. We need to be able to say that, and can get through. And when you get through the day, you know, tomorrow wake up, and I want to say this to you. A very special dear friend of mine said to me recently, when you wake up in the morning, you start with a new slate. And I want to leave you with that.
Well, I received everything that you just said to me. And like I said, the giving myself grace is something that I'm working on. And I think that's really hard for me. Even being vulnerable is very hard for me, because I mean, when you're in front of the gun, sometimes you don't have that moment to be like, oh, I need to be vulnerable. Like, I just feel like right now my life is on, I have to be on go. Like, if I'm not on go, who's going to be on go? So I'm kind of, that's where I'm kind of operating from. Like, literally, if I'm not on go, who's going to be on go? Because if I'm not doing it, who's going to do it? So I don't know how to, right now, I don't know how to balance that. I don't know how to balance that. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know how to balance that. And is that a good thing? No. I mean, I just have to kind of figure some things out.
It is a good thing. Sorry to cut in again, but it is a good thing, because that's where you are now. And with time, you will find a way to create balance in your life. We have to learn to stop being so hard on ourselves. Like, I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to do that. And is that a good thing or not a good thing? It's a good thing. That's where you are now. But you keep yourself open to working through and finding your own way to your balance. Take a deep breath, breathe in, breathe out. Balance will find its way. If you need balance in your life, you will find your way. Because the more you put this guilt on yourself, and the more you beat yourself up, the more confined your life is going to become. And that's not what you want. You want the freedom to be able to care for your child that's on the spectrum and provide what it is he needs, is from what I understand that I'm hearing going on tonight. And I'm going to stop there.
Yes. So that is some of the things that you definitely hit on, some of the things that what you said was definitely true. And like I said, I'm going to work on that whole grace thing. I mean, I think it's easy to give other people grace before it is to give yourself grace. So I know that's something that I have to work on. And I feel like the whole parenting and guilt is something that I also have to work on. And I feel like I have different levels of guilt as a parent. And I'm going to say, I feel like, of course, I have the guilt of, did I do something wrong to cause Daniel to have autism, which I know that I didn't do anything wrong. But it's always going to be there. And then another part is, do I feel guilty? Am I showing favoritism? Like, do I show more favoritism to Daniel because he has autism? Am I giving my other children enough attention? And I don't think that I show favoritism to Daniel. I don't know. I may treat him a little bit different because you have to treat a child that's on the spectrum differently than you would treat a neurotypical child. But I don't think that I show favoritism over the other children. But I do have guilt that maybe like sometimes that I'm not giving as much attention because I know they can handle certain things. Because I know if I say to my oldest daughter or my youngest son, okay, go do that, they can go over and do X, Y, and Z. But I have to kind of hold Daniel's hand and do things with him to do it. So, I mean, that's another part of guilt that I have as a mom. Like, and then, there's so many different levels of the guilt. Like I said the other week, how do you feel guilty? And, Lord, please, I'm not saying anything, but, how do you feel guilty about dying when that's not even your choice? You don't have a choice if you die or not. But I feel guilty because my thing is like, if I pass away, God forbid, what's going to happen to Daniel? Like, now, do I say, to the older sibling or the younger sibling, because that's your brother, you got to take care of your brother? Like, and my thing is just like, I don't know. That's a whole nother can of worms. And we don't have enough time for that conversation. So maybe that'll be next week. But the story that I wanted to say was, when Miss Elaine, you said how, like you sat and you watched him for 8 hours and you said how he can do everything the other kids were doing. So when I was pregnant with Daniel, it was maybe, I don't know, was it 5 of us that was pregnant? It may have been like 5 or 6 of us that was pregnant at the same time. We all had boys. Daniel was the last one. And these were women that some I went to high school with, and we ended up all working back at our high school that we graduated from. Some of them came, they didn't go to high school with us, but we just we were on the same, in the same area, whatever, with the grade levels that we were teaching. And, we all for years we bonded because we worked together for years. I worked at that one place for over 11 years. So, these relationships were really strong. And we all were pregnant at the same time. Like I said, all of us had boys, and Daniel was the last one. So Daniel was born early, and Daniel's the only one that has special needs. And, we used to get together and do things, and it's nothing that they did. But I feel like when I got the diagnosis of autism, it changed me as a person. And I felt like, I don't know, I'm getting emotional, but I felt like,
Go ahead. Let it out.
I felt like I had to put Daniel in a bubble. And I kind of had to protect him from the world because I know how people look at people who are different. And I didn't want that for him. Like I said, my girlfriends never made me feel any like different. And I know that they feel like I kind of pushed them away. And in certain aspects I did. And it's like when you see, because like I said, they're all the same age. And when you see other kids having milestones that your child should be experiencing at the same time, it's really hard because you're like, oh, my child should be experiencing that. And they, your child may never experience certain things, and that's hard for a parent. And it's hard to see your child going through something, and peers that are neurotypical are, achieving different things. And Daniel achieves things in his own time. And when he achieves these milestones, it's so powerful. And to be honest, it means a little bit more. But I feel like I pushed them away. And it, and I know they probably, and like sometimes they be like, Evelyn, you don't ever do anything with us. And I'm like, girl, I'm busy. And sometimes it don't be that I'm busy. I just like, I don't know. I felt like that autism diagnosis really changed me. And that's something that I have to work on, but I don't know. So I mean, oh my God, first of all, like
It's okay. It's all right.
but I don't feel like getting emotional, but I don't know, like it really is emotional. And it's like when I say you put yourself, it's like you're on an island. It's really like you're on an island because and it's not anything, like I said, it's not anything that somebody else did because they didn't start acting different. I pushed them away.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know. So it's really hard. So if you see a person, I'm really going to end it right here. If you see a person and they're out and like sometimes you see parents, mothers, it could be a father out and their child may be acting in a way that you quote unquote think is abnormal or, oh my gosh, don't do like the, oh my God, look, like, even if you go and say, are you okay? Do you need help? Like, you don't know how much that might change somebody because it's been times that I've been out and I wish somebody would have said that versus look. Because I'm going to tell y'all, if you know me, you know me. I'm working on that part of myself too. Because I'm telling you, like, I'm scared what I might do if somebody ever say something. Because I don't know. Like, I'm trying to work on that side, but I don't know. Like, it might be a good day, it might be a bad day. Hopefully, y'all don't see me on the news. But somebody that said something about my son with autism. Cause I'm gonna go, you know how moms are. We already mama bears, and I might be like a rabbit mama bear at that point. So I'm just, I pray for people when they look at me in a store because they don't never know what side they're gonna get. I mean, mom, you can testify. You know how your child is. I'm sorry, I know. I may have been a little bit rough, but I can't help it. I don't know if I'm gonna be like a rabbit bear or like a calm mama bear, but like I'm really like that's one reason why like I don't like going out with Daniel because I don't know. Like people are cruel, and it's sad to say, but it's adults that's cruel. Like, it's not even kids, it's adults. And my
Sure
thing
is.
is like, you an adult, so that's fair game. Now I can't do fair game to kids, but I can do fair game to adults. And I don't know how I'm gonna act. So I don't know. I pray for whoever had to cross on that day because I don't know. Like my thing is like, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how I would act because I've seen like videos on YouTube or like just on the news of how people treat children and people with autism, and it's not right.
That's not.
That's how I'm gonna leave it right there. And then okay, so we have 3 new people that have joined us tonight, and I just want to give you guys a chance to tell me what you guys think. So I want to start with Kim. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry if I'm putting you guys on the spot. If you don't want to come off the camera, you don't have to.
You're not. Hi, everybody. So I'm Kim. I'm their cousin. I think that by you having this platform, it'll help other people. And I honestly think that now it's more prevalent that people are more conscious that there are children with autism. So in public and stuff, I think that people recognize that. And I don't know, I just think it's going to change our behaviors, because I know recently, like me and my granddaughter were in shoe carnival, and a person had their child in there, and you could tell the child was autistic because they was having a moment. And I just went to the mother or whatever, and I just asked her, like, was we doing something wrong? What could I do? Could I help her in any way or whatever like that? So I think people are more conscious of children and recognizing in public and stuff if they have somebody autistic.
I hope I run into people like you, Kim, because that's what I need. That's the kind of encounters I need, because I really don't want to have to show my behind, because I've been really trying to work on myself. Like, when I say I've been really trying to work on myself. And like, I'm not going to say I'm perfect, because I know, and it definitely snaps on, but I really want to work on myself, and I really don't want to have to spaz on somebody because they done said the wrong thing out their mouth. Now, I don't mind if someone comes up to me and has a question, because they might be like, but it's just the tone of your voice and what you say. Like, if someone comes up to me like, oh, what's wrong with your child? Then my thing is like, what you mean what's wrong with my child? Now, if you approach somebody in that manner, and I think that's like the manner that you approached her was how people should approach people. Because one, she could have just been saying, like, I don't know what that conversation after that was, but it could have, like, that may have really touched her in a way that nobody touched her in a while, because like I said, it's a lonely feeling, and you go through a lot. When having children on the spectrum, and just somebody saying, are you okay, or do you need help? And even that you said, is there something that we're doing? Because people don't understand, like, you may not have even thought you were doing something intentionally, but just being too close may have set that child
And that's
up.
what it was too. I think
Wow.
we were, because we were in the same aisle, like where he was getting the shoes at. I think that kind of triggered him, making a noise or whatever. Okay. And that's why I asked him, and then we just stood back. But it was a good encounter to me. And Maya, my granddaughter, of course, she was saying hi to him or whatever, and he was saying hi back.
And that's beautiful, because that's another thing that parents fear. Their children, like, children on the spectrum don't really, I'm not gonna say don't really have friends, but it's harder for them to make friends.
It is.
So I think that was beautiful, Kim, and I really hope that I run into people like you, because I wanna have the nice experiences. And thank you, Ebony, for joining. Would you like to come off and mute? Ebony, would you like to come off and mute? If not, we're gonna close out. Okay, so we're gonna close out. Thank you for joining us anyway. So in closing, I would like to ask you to please follow me on all of my social media platforms. I am on YouTube at Mom's Little Corner, Facebook at Mom's Little Corner, Instagram at Mom's Little Corner, and my podcast will be starting, which is Mom's Little Corner. Also, please join the Mom's Little Corner group on Facebook. And please remember, if you met one person with autism, you met one person with autism. And the last thing I want to leave you with is there's no hood like better than motherhood. So thank you, ladies, for joining me tonight. And I will see you here next Thursday at 7 p.m.
Good night.
Have a great one.
You too.
Good night.